What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. It is fire pit time. So in today's video, yesterday marked 1,000 days, 1,000 days of genocide in Gaza. And so today I think I want to talk about in this video, kind of update what's actually going on in Gaza. Because there are plans and things being set up and developed at the moment, um, on top of the conditions that have apparently, came back to reality here, in Gaza, that is very, very disturbing. And it's like we are quite literally watching the development of Nazi Germany happen in Gaza, in full fucking 4K, and full like acknowledgement on it globally. It's not like this is being done without being seen or known, like, for so long or whatever. This is on the day by day, minute by minute, second by second, information flooding all over the world, and yet, very much different from that time, and yet there is not, I don't feel like there's enough reaction. It's like the fucking world is in shock right now that these conditions and things being done are happening in 2026. We need everybody to shake their asses out of this shock and fucking do something about this. We're going to talk about this. So thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out all the links in the description. There's links for this page, for my other channels as well. If you want to support in any way, like, subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. All that helps, is free for you and helps out the channels tremendously. You have Patreon there, $2 to support any of the channels you like. There is merch as well. I have merch for all the channels there. If you're a Patreon member, you get discount on the merch. I mean, all the links are down in the description, so feel free to check all that out. And any support you give is very much appreciated. Thank you. And if you're returning, you're amazing. You're freaking amazing. Okay, so I honestly don't even know where to begin here. Okay, the conditions themselves. At this point, Israel and the IDF, Netanyahu is basically, we've previously talked about how they were talking that they had taken, 50-something%, and had moved it up to about 60%, 65%. The goal was to move it to 70% at least before going to the 100, right? Which when Netanyahu kind of made that little snickery comment because somebody, suggested 100%, 100%, we need 100%. And he was like, hold on, wait, we got to do 70 first. So let's just do 70 and then we'll go from there. And he's been talking about, doing the 70, and that they will, herd them all together and work through that, going further. And then we're getting reports and concerns, awareness, warnings being thrown out from humanitarian agencies and groups that the rise of humanitarian aid concerns, hunger within Gaza has risen back up to levels of crisis again. Because during the ceasefire, the point of the quote-unquote ceasefire, even though we know, again, Israel has not ceased fire. It's you cease, we fire. They continue to kill people. There's been at least 1,000+ people killed since October last year, when the quote-unquote ceasefire happened. The idea there was that the average humanitarian aid before the war was around 600 trucks a day. And the point of the ceasefire, one of these factors around the ceasefire, was that Israel was to start to allow those aid to flow through again, so that this, the people could get the food, get the aid that they needed, like they were pre-war, pre-October 7th. And at first, it was kind of a slow weed up. They let a few, they did let a few days there where the numbers did creep up. Humanitarian aid was getting through. But once that kind of information had hit the back burner, especially after everything else started happening with Iran and all this kind of shit, Israel has bled that back down now to where they're roughly only letting about 125 to 150 trucks in. All right. Aid and stuff, people in Gaza are getting food for a family of like 4 to 5, enough food that they might can last them a week, with like 1 meal a day. I mean, they're starving for food. Conditions are worsening again. They're all being hurled and corralled, again under IDF control into only 30% of the land mass. Even though they keep claiming that there's like 2 million people still left, even though that is very much still in question, because even though the numbers are 70 something thousand that have been killed at this point, there's estimates that is way higher than that, right? Upwards of 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 that's possibly actually dead. So even the 2 million, even the 2 million is a question here. But they are corralled them into this area that IDF claims that is what's left of Hamas control. And they continue to do their, indiscriminate killings and stuff, bombing cars here and there, bombing buildings here and there, killing and sniping people here and there. I mean, I've literally seen videos where you've got like this mound of dirt overlooking what's destruction and just devastation of the area that is that people live in, and IDF soldiers like just laid up across this mound with sniper rifles, just looking for people to snipe. I mean, this is what this understand, this is what's been going on for decades, okay? This has been going on since like 2003, all right? But it doesn't get talked about. The control that Israel has over this area, and they have just, with all of this happening, with this genocide that they have conducted over the last 3 years, they've taken the practices that they previously were doing before October 7th and just put them on just levels unbelievable, unfathomable to the human mind, I think, at this point. The just inhumane, violent, murderous ideology and mentality of the IDF and of Israel and the leadership there. But I mean, even at this point, citizens can't even be removed from this equation anymore, because they themselves are so entrenched in this ideology themselves that they advocate and celebrate it. So I don't even like it's. And then we start to get information from the Board of Peace, that the Board of Peace, you can go to Drop Site News. They've been dropping all kinds of information. We have information from the Guardian, where they have been able to get documentation that shows and states that that the Board of Peace is trying to work up, has got draft resolution documents that I assume that they're going to try to present to the UN around for one, having complete immunity. Okay, that the conditions and stuff that will be set up, future conditions that will be set up, that all individuals that are in compliance and working through this strategy, the Board of Peace strategy for the new Gaza, from forces to I mean everybody, anybody associated with the conditions and what they plan to do in Gaza will have immunity, military and immunity from any kind of justice, like any kind of laws or anything that happens. They in other words, they can't be touched. They're trying to draw up documentation for resolution to make it to where anybody associated with with what they plan to do in Gaza will be untouchable. Anything that happens, nothing can be brought. No charges, no crimes, no anything can be brought upon them. If you are doing plans to so-called protect and bring peace and, you know, create positive conditions for Palestinians in Gaza, why would you feel the need to have immunity for any quote-unquote possible criminal acts or charges being brought on you for anything that happened? Like, why would you need that? If your condition, your plans are to be humane and to be peaceful, you know, this is the Board of Peace, right? Then why would you need immunity? I mean, that on its face is revealing. That is like blatantly out in front revealing of what, you know, the plans are, just in itself. Then on top of that, they're trying to also within this resolution make claim that trying to ask that they have the ability to take Palestinian land in Gaza and build whatever they need on any part of that land free of fucking charge. Like they have free access to just take land and do whatever they want to with it, to build whatever they want to with it. I shit you not. This is Trump's Board of Peace. And understand, this is a board created by Trump where he turned around and invites all kinds of countries around the world to buy their way into this board. Okay? By the tones of billions of dollars to buy their way onto this board, to help fund this board, to create this, you know, the Board of Peace slush fund for them to use this money however they deem fit to bring peace to the world. And their first mission was to bring peace to Gaza. And immediately they're asking for immunity on anything that they might do there. If this weren't so fucking serious, you would think this was a joke. You would think that this was satire. But it's fucking not. This is the goddamn reality of the Board of Peace. And Trump, the head of this board, there is representation. Taxes, U.S. taxes have went to, billions of dollars have went to this board. So the U.S. is complicit in all these actions that the Board of Peace, by our president, who is the head of this Board of Peace, and every action that they do we are a part of it. We are connected to it. And then we'll get information that within apparently the coming weeks, that there are plans for fenced areas that they are calling humanitarian shelters are going to start to be formed and placed within Gaza. One of which is going to be in the town Al-Shab. I can't fucking remember what it is, but it's near the Rafah crossing, within Gaza, but within the area that is right in the 70% controlled by Israel, by the IDF. And they are going to start to corral and herd, literally the words that were being placed here, herd Palestinians into these fenced humanitarian shelters in an operation to bite off the Palestinian people from Hamas, so that they can bite off the control of Hamas on the Palestinian people. And they're going to herd these Palestinians, millions apparently, into these fenced shelters. In order to try to remove control of Hamas on the population, to make it to where Hamas has no population to defend anymore, whatever that means, in order to make them or pressure them to then disarm. Like with no, if they have nobody to defend and control, or or whatever, that will give them no reason to remove, to continue to fight, because then we have control of the people. We are handling the humanitarian needs of them, so they should just be willing to then disarm, because at this point Hamas is refused to disarm. And I mean, would you? So we have information now that the Board of Peace is developing fenced areas of humanitarian shelter, where they are going to then herd Palestinians into this location in order to control and fend for their needs, apparently, to try to do efforts of rehabilitation on a group of people that you have fucking genocided for 3 years. Yeah, that sounds like that's going to work very well, isn't it? Doesn't this sound to you like concentration camps? Isn't this exactly the conditions that the Germans did to Jews back in the day? This sounds exactly like that. The Board of Peace, Trump, Americans, and everybody compliant in the rest of the world that is on this Board of Peace and is backed everything going on here, is allowing for concentration camps to be built in Gaza to herd a population of millions of people into fenced areas. And in the coming weeks along with this, we will also have united forces that will start to be deployed to the area. They will have a camp that's outside of Gaza in Amatay, I think the town of Amatay or whatever, Camp Amatay or Amatai. I don't know exactly how to say it. But then they will be moving in to control these concentration camps. And it was stated that they would have non-lethal ammunition. Oh, I bet they'll have non-lethal ammunition. I bet they will. Dropsite also had recently released that they had obtained information, documents, and stuff that showed potential plannings from this Board of Peace for the conditions of Gaza. And I think this was more of like the Israeli side of information of the potential building of I think it's called like I can't remember how you say it. It starts with a P. Tons of what, I don't know. It's a prison. It's a prison construction that is circular for means of having a centralized security in the middle. And there's multiple different like ways this can be constructed. I mean, this is stuff that was done in Cuba. There's actual like prisons system in Cuba that's no longer used as a prison, but way back in Modelo's age, where this was built, and this goes back to a guy from Europe, I think, or somewhere. Anyways, that came up with this like construction engineering of a prism system where it's like circular, and you have a centralized security, and the idea, and all of the inmates and stuff are, you know, surrounded by a centralized security where you have, where everybody, there's the thought that you are being seen and being watched, even though there's no way for security to watch everybody at the same time. But the idea is that psychologically, you don't know whether or not you're being watched or not. So therefore, all inmates will then stay in compliance and behave properly because they don't know whether or not they're going to be watched or not. That's like the psychological idea behind this construction. It's kind of similar to if you I don't know if you've ever seen Riddick. I think it was in the second or third movie, where Riddick was in this prison on this. It was this setup was pretty much how that prison was designed. It was very much similar to that. You had a centralized column security there. All the inmates were in this circular thing going down into the ground. They had their own cells and blah blah blah. That was the idea. It's a very similar thing there. So there was documentation. Of course, the Board of Peace, anybody associated, is denying that this stuff exists. Just like they're denying that the resolution about impunity and about the free of charge of land and everything, they're denying that is true too. They're denying all these things, but yet, so you're just telling me this documentation that is being found by these journalists, you know, companies and groups and stuff, that, I mean, it's their sole job to try to find and hunt down these types of things. They're just lying. And that you Board of Peace that is controlled by Trump, that has allowed Israel to do all the genocidal nature and just killing the support murdering, sexually abusing within their prison systems and everything, all the killing of people indiscriminately. I mean, they're just allowing them to continue bombing and stuff and doing all kinds of genocidal actions in Lebanon still. I mean, the other day they quote unquote blowed up a tunnel of Hezbollah's, and the explosion looked like a fucking nuclear bomb. It was massive, massive. And there's still this so-called Israel-Lebanese agreement where they're supposed to have backed out into their yellow area. You know, this two-zone thing, and the Lebanon would take on the other zone to control that or whatever, and that, you know, aggression and strikes past that yellow zone would stop. That has not happened. Israel is still bombing and attacking areas outside that yellow zone in southern Beirut and in southern parts of Lebanon that is outside that yellow line. They're still doing it. They will not stop. And now you have the U.S. Now you have the U.S. You had Mike Huckabee also the other day. You know, our ambassador to Israel, the U.S. signing an agreement basically to make the U.S. embassy in Jerusalem permanent, and it being placed and built, a new embassy being built on land that is supposed to be Palestinian land, and literally solidifying the idea that Jerusalem is an undivided city, all Israel, okay, where it's supposed to be under UN accords and resolutions and understanding. It's supposed to be split. It's supposed to be half Israel, half Palestinian. And we have the U.S., our own fucking ambassador, that piece of shit Mike Huckabee, who is a Christian Zionist, doing everything he can to bring about the Armageddon in the end times. I mean, that's out of his own fucking mouth. Celebrating, talking about planting the flag, the U.S. flag, in Jerusalem. I fucking kid you not. While they continue to kick people, thousands of people off their land. This is Israel. This is what they do, and the U.S. is completely complicit in all the actions that they are doing. And this is all tying in to how much control Israel has within the U.S. and our government, which I will be doing another video later about. That how basically the Israel is, in my opinion at this point, trying to actually just take over the United States. Trying to literally change the United States into the United States of America into the United States of Israel. That's what it looks like to me at this point. So look out for that video. But this is what they do. And the U.S. is completely compliant in it. We are completely compliant in the genocide for 3 years now. And now compliant in plans by a board of peace, a board of genocide, a board of ethnic cleansing, headed by our president, in herding Palestinians into fucking concentration camps in order for Israel to take over this land, eliminate Hamas, take over this land, and mark it as a U.S.-Israel land where they plan to, you know, we've seen the AI that Trump posted way back, you know, the Trump Gaza, with all these, you know, all these buildings and residential not residential hotels and resorts and everything all across Gaza. The Trump Hotel, his Trump's golden statue, you know, him and Netanyahu laying on the beach, sipping back some, margaritas or whatever the fuck they were doing. Elon Musk, the money just raining from the sky. They literally look at Gaza as a money bucket for them to enrich themselves, and a resort style area for all their elite rich buddies. Trump, I mean, getting, having like a belly dancer or whatever dancing, with him, or what. I mean, this was the video that he posted, and it was like a joke then. Like, are you kidding me? Like, is this really what you envision, or it's got to be a troll? It's got to be a joke. It's whatever. All his, MAGA and all his supporters. Oh, he's just trolling y'all. He's just trying to clickbait y'all. No, this is actually what the fuck this man envisions. This is exactly what all his elite buddies and rich people, what Netanyahu envisions, is them taking over Gaza and turning it into a resort, turning it into a land owned by Israel and the United States, by Trump and himself, and no existence of Palestinians whatsoever. And this is going to be a part of the greater Israel. I mean, this is no joke anymore. They're literally trying to carry out these conditions, and to do so, they're carrying out Nazi-like, genocidal conditions, concentration camps. So I guess I guess the next thing we're going to learn about. I mean, history. It is going to be wild. It is going to be wild, because all of this information, there are databases being built by people out there of all the videos and pictures and information of all the crimes and stuff that Israel and the IDF and the U.S. has committed through all of this. There is going to be such a massive database of information and evidence of humanitarian and war crimes committed over this time, that history is going to remember, that history is going to be taught at some point in the future of how horrific of a history that we are currently living through right now, where the history of a country that went through and fought against this type of situation back in the 1930s and 40s against Germany, not only allowed but contributed and assisted in that exact condition happening again in Gaza. It is. And again, all of this is happening. All of this stuff is being revealed and talked about. And yet, what are we hearing from all the other countries? What are we hearing? What kind of backlash and pushback are we getting from the global community? I mean, it's almost like fucking crickets. I mean, is the world literally in that much of a shock? Is it literally in that much of a shock? Like, no, they can't possibly be doing this. No, this can't possibly be happening again. And that we've went so long thinking that there's no way the atrocities of Nazi Germany would ever happen again, because we have put in things in place, and the Geneva Convention and all the international laws and the international community supposed to be in unison around all the of something like this never happening again, and yet it does weirdly feel like it's happening again. How is this possible? This can't be happening. Or is the international community in such fucking shock after all of this conditioning being put in place to try to not have it happen again. And that they don't know what to do. They don't know how to respond. Are they afraid? Or is it that they're literally that afraid of responding aggressively because they worry about a literal another world war? Is that the genuine fear? Are we going to allow for this to happen again, literally just in the fear of the possibility of another world war? Another world war that would clearly, I mean, it is blatantly obvious at this point that Israel would be the one starting. I have no doubt that they would be the one starting it, and we would be right there on the their skirt tails, helping them out. Because it would literally be the United States and Israel against every fucking body else. I don't. You know that the UN tried at one point to make food and aid like a humanitarian right, like literally for the entire globe, a humanitarian right. Food and aid was a humanitarian right, and there were only 2 countries that voted against it, and that was the United States and Israel. The sickness that has enveloped our country vis-a-vis what was already here, plus the influence of Israel, is to all-time highs that are so disturbing. It's like I don't even recognize this country anymore. To what extent it could be recognized as what it, a representation of what it's supposed to represent anyways. Now it's like there's no recognizing that anymore. We are not, this nation is not what it claims or what has always claimed to be. It's just not. We are so far gone, so far out of sorts, so far separated from our origins. Which is wild enough in itself to say, because our origins were pretty fucking disturbing. But like after all that disturbing shit, the idea was that we would little by little grow to become a great nation. Like we would get better and do better things and allow for more. Like that was kind of the idea. But instead, we have not only I thought we had just regressed like domestically in, our and around like rights for certain individuals and communities within our own country, but I'm starting to realize we have actually regressed even further than that. We have regressed all the way back to like the imperial colonial, like just atrocities that we committed just to come into existence. I mean, by the people that we ourselves hated so much that we went to war to separate from. The Eurocentric ideas of like the 1500s, the 1600s. Um, and it's disheartening to be here as just a regular ass Joe or Jason in this sense in fucking rural Mississippi, seeing this happen. I don't have any kind of power. I mean, I don't even I don't have any influence. I don't have any connections or money to try to influence any kind of change. I mean, I don't even, I have, all I have is this channel right here to speak my opinions and thoughts and commentary on what the fuck's going on. And I'm not even sure how fucking long I'll be able to continue to do this, because I'm not making any fucking money doing it, because apparently there's not as much support out there for this kind of shit that I thought there was. Or apparently my opinion is not cared enough about. And so I'm probably here before long going to have to just go get a regular ass Joe job. But I'm sitting here like, those that are in power, those that do have the ability, those that do have the influence, those that could do something, why the fuck are they not doing it? Is it that the rest of the fucking world is also so far gone? I can't. That cannot be the reality. That cannot be the reality. At some point, where is the fucking red line that the rest of the world goes, okay, fuck it. This has got to stop. We are not going any further. I don't give a fuck if you're the largest country in the world and you've in blah, 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 or whatever. You know, United States, you have got to stop. You have got to pull your little puppets in line there in Israel and fucking end this bullshit. Like, where is the red line? Where is the red line? Because clearly our own government and our own leadership doesn't fucking know where the red line. They have no red line. They are complicit as long as they are making and enriching themselves. Because they are fucking corrupt. There is no red line. And what few there is that do have red lines are so small that they ultimately can't make any fucking change or do anything fucking about it. So who in the world is going to? Who in the world is going to? Who in the world is going to stop a nation like the United States from continuing to allow these atrocities, this genocide, these conditions to continue, even to the point that we are literally assisting and funding it? Assisting and funding it, even though many of us, if not most of us, don't want that. Our country literally does not represent us anymore. I mean, yes, there's an argument that they haven't for a while, but like, they literally do not represent us, period, anymore. And they are making, at least they kind of, you know, played to us for a while that oh no, we do care about your interest. We do care, and we'll try to take that into account, and we'll make some adjustments here and there. They play to it for a while, for a long time. But the Trump administration, Trump himself, and what his conditions that he has helped create is basically made it to where they're just like, yeah, we don't give a fuck and we don't care that you don't like it. And that is due to the influence of elitism, of money, power, and corrupt ideology of Zionists and Christian Zionists alike from Israel and the United States. Power-hungry imperialism, power-hungry technocrats, power-hungry elites, billionaires, CEOs that continuously strip away from everybody else in the world. I know this has went way off the fucking, like, it's not even about Gaza anymore, even though that's what this video is about, but it is about Gaza, because if we don't do something to stop Gaza and to stop what is happening in Gaza, then we will be allowing for a condition that is going to become normal, to where there will be more Gazas. I mean, they're already attempting, they've been attempting it in West Bank. They're already attempting it in Lebanon. I mean, Netanyahu's targeted Turkey, too. Trump makes threats to every fucking body. If we don't stop Gaza, if we don't stop what's happening here, like we stopped Nazi Germany, if we do not stop what's happening in Gaza, then we are allowing for the possibility of Gaza and what would have been Germany to happen in more places. There will be more Gazas. So it has to stop now. It has to stop now. We don't need the condition, the normality of people just being killed and murdered and starved and abused just because you don't like them. Just because you don't think they should exist. Just because you want their land and property and you think it was promised to you. You think you have some religious, supernatural right to that said land and property. I mean, or you think you have the right to that property as well as any other fucking property in the world, to put your fucking resorts and hotels and make your billions and trillions of dollars just because you have the ability to do so. It has to stop. Who's going to stop it? Let me know what you think. Until next time, peace. Clear Talk, I'm out.